My name is Paul Lesher. I am doing today's webinar as these topics that we're covering today. I am the expert, as it were, in most things related to the IRS. So today's topics, we'll talk about updates from December, the ESTA, which is coming in February, and what Cogitate is going to be doing for that, our new 941 module, and of course, year-end reporting related to your W-2s and 1099s. Our next webinar will be February 3rd. We will be covering the ESTA in more detail at the time and what you can do to prepare for that. But as today is just kind of an overlook of what we will be doing. For today's agenda is updates, ESTA 941s, and then year-end reporting. So without further ado, our December highlights. We added an extra rate flag in PR types that MyWorks will honor. So I'm going to quickly pull that up. In payroll types, we have a allow extra, checking that will allow the payroll type to have the extra rate flag show up on MyWork. So if you're using MyWork and you don't want or you want the extra rate, otherwise the extra rate flag will not show up. That is a change that we made. So just keep you aware of that one. We added a new menu item called Clear Control Locks. This menu item, it's supposed to be a replacement for the GL Post Control and Repair Control Table menu items. It's just another tool that in case if you get locked out of a menu and for some reason it says, this menu item is being used, you could go in and use that to clear it. And instead of using, if you're not sure what GL Post Control or Repair Control Tables does, this is our new replacement. We added Central Savings Bank as a format for positive pay. So if you use Central Savings Bank as a bank, we added that format for positive pay. We added a system setting for applying the PR factor to equipment and incentive rate. Let me pull that up quick. So in system settings, we added the PR factor. So in case if you have a payroll factor like overtime, you may or may not want to apply it to if your equipment has an incentive rate. So if you use your PR factor with equipment incentive, you can turn that on. Otherwise, it's defaulted to it won't apply your payroll factor. We added work orders as a menu item in equipment. So let me pull that up. It's the same as before, but it's now as its standalone menu item, so it should be a little easier to get to instead of having to go through equipment to get to the screen. We just added it as a menu item so you can find it easier. We did add, obviously, now that we're in 2025, we did add the 2025 tax tables. So, and then obviously one of our big releases for December was we updated the quarterly tax reports menu item, and I'm going to go ahead and show that off and how that works. First, I do want to just mention this is the Clear Control Locks menu item. So in case you have a locked window like PR Post is locked, you can click on that and unlock PR Post. If it's locked and you don't know who has it, if it shouldn't be locked, you can go ahead and clear that. Our new 941, we just also for the quarterly tax, it's called the quarterly tax report window, and we did add a video on Friday, a help video, so you could always take a look if you're not sure. But this is supposed to be kind of an overview. So to start with, you select your quarter. I'm going to do fourth quarter of 2024. And then next you want to enter your tax payments to the IRS. By clicking this little button, it'll pull up a window and it will automatically have all the payments entered from the calculate from the IRS that the payroll system calculated. So you can always add in an amount if you added an extra payment, and then you can just click this to delete, or you could use default payments and it will reset it to what Profund says you should have. So I'm going to just leave it at the default. for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and click calculate, and it will calculate your 941s. And it should be a whole lot faster than the old 941 calculation. And then once it's successfully calculated, you can select which form you want to print. We're going to go with the 941. You click the print button, and it will pop up, and you can go ahead and save or print your 941s for federal. And for state, you can select a state. This button will calculate the file that you can upload to MyWAM. So now you can select a folder instead of it going to wherever it was going to before. You can now select a folder. So like I can put it on in my documents, and I can select folder, and it will create the upload file for MyWAM. And now we have two different forms. You could print the official MyWAM UIA 1028, or you could do the employees quarterly tax report, which includes a column for both quarter to date wages and year to date wages. So you can see their year to date wages. So that's basically it. I do see a question in here. Paul, can you show me where I can change the number for line 1, number of employees received for the quarterly taxes? Yes. I believe that is coming in this next. So I'm actually showing the live version. In our next update that we release, we will have an area where you could enter in the employees that will be coming in this next update. You will be able to enter in whatever employees on the 12th that you need to enter in. So, like I said, it should be a whole lot faster and work a whole lot smoother. And now we allow you to uncalculate and recalculate as many times as you want. So, ESTA, the Earned Sick Time Act, it goes into effect February 1st, 2025. So what Cogitate will be doing is we will have a special calculation type in bank types for the ESTA. So you'll set up a bank, and we'll have a new calc type that will cover the ESTA. So that's pretty much what you have to do, set up a bank, and we'll have another calc type. And we are currently still developing it, but we will have it done. And like I said before, in February's webinar, we will cover that in more detail. Make sure you calculate and send in your 941s before your W-2s. So you should finish your fourth quarter 941s before you calculate your W-2s. Just as a note that your 941 should be all finished before. So I'm gonna go through it, but we have the W-2 forms menu item that generates the upload file for for submitting your W-2s electronically. So you click on the W-2 forms, you select which year, you click calculate, you can select, you type in your SSA user ID, which is an 8-character number. All right, let's create electronic file. I'm just gonna save it. Let's just save it in downloads. Save. All right, so I have generated my W-2 electronic file, and then to submit it, I go click on the SSA W-2 login. Bear with me while I sign in. I can't sign in advance, so it would probably time out. So this would be the user ID that you type in this box right here. That would be the user ID, just so you know where to look for that user ID to type in. So then to upload your file, you'd go to report wages to Social Security. And then to start with, you go to AccuWage Online, and then you'll click on the AccuWage, and it'll take you to this area. And I want to select W-2 regular and start testing. Oh, their website's being a little slow today. All right. Let me go to downloads and grab this file. We do have some errors because we do have some incorrect. Obviously, this is generated data, so SSNs might be incorrect. So you can see the errors. Right here, I can see alert. And you will almost always get this alert, which is it's an informational only, which says the submitter EIN and the employer EIN are exact match. So typically, if you're submitting it if you as the road commission is submitting it, then you'll probably get this alert and you can ignore that. You can click on the return to ERW home, and then you can go to the upload wage submitted format and click on submit a formatted wage file. And it'll take you to, they're just running a little slow today. And you click on that, and then you choose your upload file. I'm not going to upload one here, but you browse, you click, and then say upload. Actually, I think I can just, excuse me, browse, and then you click upload file. I'm going to go back to ERW home, and then you could click on the view submission status because we're in 2025. It will be a 2025 because you submitted it in 2025, and then I usually select like entire year. And then when you click continue, it'll show you any files you have submitted. And just so you're aware, if you get a submission status of complete, that means the SSA has received and accepted your submission and you are done with the federal government as far as submitting your W-2s. Now, the W-3 is automatically included in the wage file, so you do not have to submit any kind of W-3. And I want to go to and show you how to submit your W-2 to the state of Michigan. All right, so you log into your MTO account, and at the bottom, there is an area called EFW2 upload. You can click on that, and you can go to upload and select the year. So we're 2024, and you can select the same file that you submitted to the federal government to submit it to the state of Michigan. So you don't have to send in a paper copy. I just want to point that out that you can submit them to the state of Michigan takes the same file as the federal government. All right, getting back to the presentation. Please do not change the name of the W-2 file. It is very important that it stays as the year. So this would be 2024 EFW2. I just want to highlight that that has to be the name. So moving on to 1099s. So you use the 1099, the tax form menu item to create your 1099s and e-file for the taxpayer portal. You can print or email the 1099s to your vendors, but you must use the IRS taxpayer portal to submit the 1099s to the IRS. You can print on plain paper. You don't have to get the official red paper just to send them out to your vendors. You can buy the official paper. We allow you to print just the data on a form. The NECs are due electronically on January 31st, and the MISCs are due electronically on the 31st. When you submit your your 1099s through the taxpayer portal, it does automatically generate the 1096, so you don't have to submit one. I know a lot of you had trouble with the taxpayer portal last year, that it was crashing or it took a long time to load or you couldn't get in. And this year, the IRS have promised that it shouldn't crash and it should be able to handle the volume that is going to be for the 1099s. To see if it's working, you can just type in, like I do, IRS information with the IRS system, which is their taxpayer portal, and you can check the status, and it says it is unavailable. And then also on this page, you can click, this is how you can click to the sign in to the taxpayer portal. But we do have let me get back to ProFund. And under payables, we have a menu item called 1099 forms that you just select the year. So I'm going to select 2024, and then you can select the form, and then you click load year, and it will load all the vendors that are scheduled to get a form that have amounts that's above $600. So if you go into vendors, so if you go into vendors and you look at his taxes, he has a 1099 NEC. Anybody who does not have a 1099, any of these checked will not. So if I go ahead and hit none here, I hit save on here, and then I go back to, I can close vendors then. And I click load year, he will be gone from the year. So that is how this 1099 forms determines who's on the list. So make sure you have everyone who's supposed to get a 1099 has that 1099 box checked. For the send method, you to the vendor, you could do print email or print and email. So based on that selection, when you go into the 1099, you will when you click on that, if they have an email, when you click email, it'll email them to it. So let me go ahead and try to print it. You can select the vendors you need to, and then you can just go ahead and click create e-file. We go documents, and I select the folder, and it generates the e-file. And then you go ahead and click the IRS 1099's login button to log into your taxpayer portal to submit the file. So you can submit your ACA forms through the IRS's AIR system. You generate the necessary files using the ACA tax reporting menu item. So to do that, you go into Human Resources, and we have this ACA tax reporting menu item. I'm assuming you have all data that everything is correct, and you can select that they either get a 1095 B or C. You click on the print or generate e-file. We pop up a little message. And then you can select which form if you want to print the forms or if you want to e-file. I'm going to select the e-file 1094 5-B. The year is obviously 2024. You load your employees. You enter your 5-digit TCC number. And then you can select which employees that you want to include in your files that it generates. So I'm going to go ahead and generate the files. I'm going to go ahead and put it in downloads, and it has created them. So I'm going to go pull up downloads to show you that it created two different files, a manifest file and the request file. So you're going to want to, when you log into the AIR system, they'll ask for a manifest file and then a request file, and you're going to go ahead and upload both of those. Again, the AIR system is also down until the 10th, I believe is what they said. So they're expected to come online by the end of this week. And then once you submit them, you submit them and they'll give you a receipt ID of your transmission. Please make sure you write that down or take a screenshot of that because you'll need that to look up to see if your forms were accepted or rejected or like partially accepted, accepted with errors, etc. If your transmission has errors, there will be a download file, and that will download the error, what error it is, and you can use we have a ACA corrections menu item. You go ahead and you select the manifest file that you would use to upload. You select the request file, and then you select the error file or you can enter the receipt ID from the IRS, but you can select the error file, and then once you select those, you click load files, and it'll pop up with a window. I can't show it here because I don't have that set up, but it'll have an area where you can make the corrections. and then submit the corrections. And when you submit a corrections, you'll be submitting the manifest file, and then the corrected file will just have the data that you corrected. It won't have any of the previous. It won't be the full request file. It'll be a corrected file. So you won't be submitting the whole thing again. You'll be just submitting the corrections. If this is your first time submitting ACA forms, as in 2020, 2024 is the first year you had ACA forms, you need to create a test file to pass the IRS communications test. So how we do that, we offer that if you go back into ACA tax reporting, we have a button called IRS Com Test. You enter in your TCC, you can select which form, and then you can create the test files, and then you'll log into, which I will show, not the IRS website, but you'll log into not the production system, but the assurance testing, it's basically the same thing, except one is for testing and the other is for your actual submission. So when you go to submit your ACA forms, you definitely want to sign in to the production system. But when you're just trying to pass their testing system, you want to make sure that you log into here. So it looks like they did move it to the 13th, begin Monday, January 13th. So like I said, they're always changing dates. Once you have submitted your test file for the communications test, please make sure you write down the receipt ID of that transmission test. And if it gets any status is accepted with errors, or partially accepted, you can call the IRS help desk at the numbers 866-937-4130. And then you provide them with your TCC and receipt ID to have your transmitter form move from T to P. So on your applications, it'll move from a test to a production. The only thing it can't say is just errors. But if it's even accepted with errors, they don't really care. They just need it to be to prove that you can submit to the IRS. Also, we recommend that when you get your receipt ID and you're all set to call the IRS, try to call the IRS when they open at 7:30. The phones do get busy. Last year, people were waiting upwards of 2 hours on the phone to have the IRS. The phone call takes less than probably 5 minutes, but sometimes wait times can be up to 2 hours. And I've been on wait several times where after 2 hours, they automatically hang up for some reason. So I just want to recommend that if you need to submit your ACA forms this year and you did not last year, to get that going and get that early in the morning. And once the IRS has reviewed your receipt IDs, you will get an email saying that it was moved into production, and it'll probably take a week, give or take, to get your transmitter from a T to a P. As always, you could always call us at 866-634-9991 extension 2 if you have any issues with any of your file uploads, or the IRS is rejecting your submissions due to an invalid format. Sometimes they change things at the last minute that we don't catch. Or for any general questions related to anything W-2s, 1099s, if you need any sort of help or not 100% sure on what to do, again, we are more than happy to help you through getting your files to the federal government during this reporting season. All right, well, everyone, thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of the week and the month, and we'll see you all again in February.
You are now working smarter with ProFund Accounting. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.